look, there is no one coach for everyone. And
You're
any
the
coach
best
that
in the
tells you,
business, so we're coming to you.
well, thank you. But I'm clear that I'm not the right person for everyone. And any coach that tells you that I have the only answer, you need to work with me, no one else can help you, you need to turn and run. They are no one's coach. They are never going to be able to help you because there
Mm.
is no one right answer for everyone. There's only the right answer for you and the right answer for you right now.
Welcome to the Bricks and Banks podcast, where real estate meets real wealth. Whether you're building from the ground up or stacking your paper to the ceiling, Steph breaks down property power plays and money moves you can act on. From first-time buyers to seasoned investors, this podcast is your blueprint for financial freedom through property, investment, and business. Subscribe now. It's time to build your future. This is Bricks and Banks with Steph.
And we are live. Hey everyone, welcome to another edition of the Bricks and Banks podcast. I am your host, Stephanie, and today we're diving deep, not into property, but into the mindset that determines whether or not wealth stays or slips away. Joining me is Pericles Rellas, a global mindset coach who has helped tens of thousands of people unlock abundance and prosperity over the last 30 years. Pericles Rellas is a mindset coach. He's a money expert and he's a wealth entrepreneur. I would say he's a money mindset expert. So welcome, Pericles, to the podcast. Yay!
Stephanie, thanks for having me on. I'm very excited to be here.
Can you tell our viewers where you're joining us from? Because a lot of people are in the US, but I have a couple of audience from the UK as well. I'm joining from London.
Okay, yeah, I'm in actually Las Vegas, Nevada,
Yay!
the place where many people go to lose their fortunes.
That's why this conversation is very important, because you're in the hub and you're seeing this happen every single night. People going into the casino, jumping all their monies, and you be like, okay, no, I need to fix this. I need to fix this. Guys, let's start talking. Can you give a brief introduction about yourself? I know you've done this for the past 3 decades. That's 30 years and counting.
Yes.
So how did you come about this? What was your background like growing up, and how did we get here?
Well, you would never know from my background growing up that this is where I would end up. You know, my family was middle class and never talked about money. Both my parents were children of immigrants. My dad's parents were from Greece. My mom's from Canada. And in that culture, they just never spoke about money. They worked hard. They were expected to work hard. You wanted to create a better future for yourself. And the path to that was working hard. But of course, speaking about money, understanding money, asking about money was off a subject. You just never talked about it. So it was kind of my path in life to work hard and try to make money. And I realized that there was a point in my life in my early 30s where I stopped looking outward and I started looking inward. And I started looking at, well, who am I in this world, and how do I fit in, and what's the bigger picture? What's the bigger conversation? And I started delving into a lot of work, both spiritual and philosophical and emotional and theoretical and just everything. And I really was interested in looking at that. And one of the things that I came to was I love working with people. I love helping them. And so that's when I became a coach. And I first started working with my clients to earn more money. Whether they were a business owner or not, I wanted them to be more successful. And in the first few months, they were, which was great. They were making more money. They were just more successful in that sense. But I noticed there was a pattern with all of them in that no matter how much more money they made, they were still in the same situation that they were before they started working with me. So if they had stress and anxiety around money, they still had stress and anxiety around money. If they were just behind every month at the end of the month, they were still just behind every month at the end of every month. And so that's when I realized, okay, something's going on here. And I started to study it and really delve into it. And over the next 2 years, I discovered 2 things. One, that we all have a financial thermostat. And that financial thermostat, just like a thermostat in our home, regulates how much we can earn, how much we can keep, as well as our thoughts, feelings, and emotions around money. And the next was the 4 keys to resetting that financial thermostat. So I started implementing those distinctions with my clients, and it was extraordinary. They were so blown away by it, and they started telling their friends and their coworkers and their family, and it just grew from there. And that's when I realized, wow, I love having this conversation. I want to spend the rest of my life talking about money and our money mindset. And that's how I got to be here with you today.
Wow. And true to your word, you've spent the past 30 years talking about it and transforming people's lives. And there's one of my favorite books I read about money. That's Rich Dad Poor Dad. Robert Kiyosaki, he said it's not about wealth is not a function of how much money you make, it's about how much money you're able to keep. A lot of people can make money. People make money every day, but how much of that money are they able to keep? And you rightly said, it begins with a mindset. It's a mindset thing. If your mindset is right, you will do the right things. If it's not right, then you're gonna be hitting
Yes.
blocks
You're going
all
to,
around the
yes.
way.
And you're going to be struggling and you're going to be suffering. And
Yeah.
while I have great respect for Robert Kiyosaki and his book and the work that he's done,
Yeah.
I like to take it to another level because a lot of people think that if I just get to that place where I have a lot of money, I'll be happy, I'll be
Yeah.
secure, I'll be filled with joy and fulfillment. And that's not true. And that's where a lot of people end up. They work really hard, they get a lot of money, and they realize, I'm still not happy. I'm not fulfilled. And that again is our financial thermostat. I've worked with people who have lots of money, millions and billions of dollars, and they're miserable. And I've worked with people with little bits of money, and they're
It's true.
so happy. And so it's finding that place in our world as well, so that we're freed up to make as much money as we want, but we have the happiness regardless of whether or not we have the money.
That's true. So can you take us back to that moment when you realized that people's relationship with money mirrored something deeper within themselves? What was that thing that sparked this journey of yours, helping people check their financial thermostat, like you
Yeah,
put it?
I think it's a nuanced question, or it's actually, there's more than one moment when I realized
Okay.
that our relationship to money is a mirror of our relationship to the world around us and ourselves.
Hmm.
It
Yep.
was, I've had this conversation many, many times, and I've been on many podcasts. And I think the more I talk about it, the more I deeply dive into this conversation, suddenly new things show up for me. And I think it
Yep.
organically arose over a series of conversations where suddenly I realized, wow, you know what? If I look back, I can see this person's relationship to money is a mirror of their relationship to themselves and the world around them. This
Hmm.
person doesn't respect money. They don't respect money. And if you look, they don't have any respect for themselves. This
Hmm.
person is stingy with money. They're stingy with themselves and they're stingy with other people. So when I started to see that, I started to incorporate that conversation into the work that I do, because it is so powerful for people to see, like, oh my gosh, I have no respect for money. And I realize I have no respect for myself. How I relate to money is how I relate to myself and the people around me. And so it's that expression that people start to see and they realize, whoa, I need to shift this. I need to
Yeah.
alter this. I need to have more respect for myself. I need to have more respect for the people around me. And I
Hmm.
think the other thing is that people are concerned about making a lot of money because they think money's the root of all evil. And if I have a lot of money, I'll be a bad person. And money's actually an amplifier of who
Of
we
who you
are.
really are.
Yeah,
Sure.
it's not good or bad. It's like a magnifying glass, and it just
Hmm.
magnifies who we are. And we all have the propensity to be good or evil. We all have the ability to do good things and bad things. And whoever we choose to embrace as ourselves, as we make more money,
Hmm.
that will simply get amplified. And so there's no need to be worried about the money part of it. It's focus on who do you want to be in your life? And are you
Yeah.
being that every single day?
Nice. I like the way you put it because it's basically you're basically advocating for people to come to a sense of self-awareness when it comes to their money, their finances. That's where you develop the concept of financial thermostats. So for those who are new to the term, I'm also new to the term because this is the first time I'm hearing it. How is it formed and in what ways does it quietly control how we allow ourselves to earn or keep money?
Yeah, this is the foundation of everything that I do.
Mm,
The financial thermostat is a distinction. I named it that because it's easier for people to relate to. It really is our money mindset. It's
mm,
the way we think about money, the way we relate to money, but in a subconscious way, not how we're thinking about it in the forefront where we think, oh, I'm going to be rich. I'm going to have all this stuff. No, it's the underlying quiet conversation that's there saying, no, you're too stupid. No, you're not
mm,
handsome enough. You're too ugly. You're not educated enough. All those negative thoughts. That's our financial thermostat. And it is so simple in the way it operates, just like a thermostat in our home. It doesn't think. All it does is keep things at stasis. So we have our thermostat set at 72 degrees here in the US, and for you guys, Celsius, whatever that would be, but a nice, comfortable temperature. If it's really cold outside, that cold air comes in, it kicks on the heat, and it brings the temperature back up to that 72 degrees. And the opposite is true as well. All it does is keep the room at the same temperature. And the same thing's true for our financial thermostat. It regulates 3 areas: how much we can earn. I can't make any more than this. I can't make any more. I'm struggling. I just work really hard, but I can't make any more than this. That's your financial thermostat at play. I can make lots and lots of money. I make tons and tons of money, but it all disappears every single month. I don't know where it goes. That's your financial thermostat at play. And then I make lots of money. I keep lots of money, but I'm stressed or I'm unfulfilled or I'm miserable. That's your financial thermostat around our emotions. So when we recognize that, we can then take the steps to resetting that financial thermostat to anywhere we want. So some people may be right where they want to be in terms of how much they're earning and how much they're keeping, but they want to have more joy and happiness in their life or fulfillment. We reset that, or how much they can make or how much they can keep. These are all things that we do when we reset. And a great example of this, if I can say one last thing, is lottery winners, especially here in the US.
Exactly.
The majority of lotto winners go broke within the first 4 or 5 years. And the reason is their financial thermostat is not set for that amount of money. And so all this money comes flooding in. And the only thing they know how to do is disappear it. They spend on anything and everything, and we see it happen all the time. We even see some of our hugely successful sports celebrities who make tens, if not hundreds of millions of dollars in the course of a career go bankrupt shortly after retiring. That's their financial thermostat. So it's really important for us to reset it so that we can have the kind of life and lifestyle joy and happiness that we really want.
Nice. I like the way you put it because, yes, you ask a ton of people, how many of you want to make more money? Everyone raises their hands up.
Yeah.
Like, okay, if you're given $1 million, what are you going to do with it? You have no idea because they didn't plan for that money.
Exactly. They either have no idea what to do with it, or this is what because this is an exercise I give to my clients. Okay, I just gave you $1 million, Stephanie, free and clear, no tax. It's yours, free and clear. What are you going to do with it? And most of the people I work with say, okay, I buy a new home. I quit my job. I'll buy my parents a home. I'll buy a new car. I'll go on a really long vacation. I'm like, okay, you've just spent the last 30 seconds telling me how you're going to disappear $1 million. Like that. You haven't talked or looked at how are you going to grow this money? How are you going to have this money sustain and build and provide for you over the long haul? No, you're just going to disappear it. And that's our financial thermostat at play. Now, I like to give people a kind of a scenario in how to relate to money. If we related to a significant other, the way most of us relate to money, I want it when I want it. I want to show it off as soon as it's with me. I want to show them off to everybody around me. I don't think about them when they're not there. I just want to use them up when they are here. And I want everyone to see how cool I am because I've got all this money or this relationship. Well, that relationship wouldn't last very long. It would be over very quickly. But what if when money came to us, we were so grateful and we were so appreciative. And when we're with it, we're just so excited and happy to have it with us. And all we want to do is have that relationship be better so that it lasts forever. And when we're not with it, what we're thinking about, well, I'm thinking about how can I be better in this relationship? How can I make this relationship stronger and make it last forever? That's the kind of relationship we want to have with a significant other. And if we start to look at our relationship with money the same way, then suddenly money will start to come to us more easily and more abundantly.
Yeah, it's just a mindset shift. Once you make that mindset shift, the possibilities are endless.
Yes.
And I know in your experience, what are the common limiting money beliefs that hold people back? And what's the first steps to rewiring them? Actually, what does it look like?
Yeah. So the first question, I think there are a couple of things that are really negative mindset beliefs around money. First is that I'm going to get a quick fix. I'm going to hit the lotto. I'm going to go into the casino and win $1 million. I'm going to, in the United States, I'm going to sue somebody. And that's my lunch, my meal ticket, right? I'm going to do that. People love to try to get rich that way. And then that money's going to solve all my problems. You know what? I'm going to have a lot of money and I'm not going to have any problems. Not going to happen. Like I said, I've worked with people who are literally billionaires and they've got so many problems and they are miserable. Not all of them, but misery is just something that follows them. So the money's not going to provide that. So thinking money's going to provide it was something that it's not. Second thing, that's just such a bad thing. And then the last one is that money is evil or money is bad. I'm going to be really careful because I'm evil if I get a lot of money. No, not at all. Make as much money as you want. Be a good person. That's all you need to worry about. So I'd say those are the 3 top things. Now, in terms of resetting our financial thermostat, I have 4 things to do to reset your financial thermostat.
Okay.
And the first one has 4 steps. So this is really important. So the first thing is to notice those negative conversations that we have around money. And this is why a lot of people fail at manifesting or fail at, what's the other word? Affirmations. They try, they
Affirmations.
have these affirmations. It's not working. Or they're watching Abraham Hicks and they're doing Dr. Joe Dispenza and they're meditating and they're trying to manifest and it's not working.
Yeah.
It's not working because they haven't done these 4 steps. Really super important. The first thing is we have to acknowledge, recognize, and own that we have a negative thought about money. So let's say money's the root of all evil. This is a really good one because a lot of people have it. Money's the root of all evil. Oh, it's bad. So you say to yourself, I'm going to have a lot of money. And then you hear in the background or you feel in your heart, yeah, money's the root of all evil. Great. You want to own it. You want to say it out loud. Whoa, there's that conversation. Money's the root of all evil. I can own that. I've had that for 30 years, 40 years, 50 years, however long it's been. I can own it. You don't want to give it any acknowledgement beyond I can see you and I own that you've been there. You don't want to give it power over you, right? Just let it be. Just say that that's what it is. That's the first step. Second step is now you have to let it go. And you have to do this audibly. And this is why most people fail at manifestation, because if we don't let it go, that negative thought is poison in the soil that we're planting the seeds. And so we're planting these really great seeds, but they're in soil that's poisoned. We need to get the poison out of the soil first. So we have to let go of that negative conversation. So I release the conversation that money is the root of all evil. I let it go. I actually turn it over into a higher power. Whether it's God or the universe or the trees or the ocean, it doesn't make any difference. Just let it go out of you and out to something else. And you keep saying it over and over and over again. I release it, however you want to say it. I let it go. And it has to be out loud. It can't be in your head. I let it go. I release it. It no longer has power over me. It no longer has dominion over me. And the moment that you feel a sense of, wow, I felt it like move away just a little bit. Doesn't need to be completely, but wow, I feel it's leaving me just a little bit. I do feel a little bit of relief, right? Step 3 comes in. In that moment, in that space that got created, now that this conversation is moving away, what relationship do you want to have with money right now? And for me, when I first did this work, it was money flows to me easily and abundantly every single day. It's a short, simple statement like that. It can literally be one word. I've had people say simply, I'm free. You could feel it. They're like, it's all over them. They're free. And for me, it's money flows to me easily and abundantly every single day. And you want to feel it in your heart. You want to feel that vibrational shift in your frequency. Like, yes, it does. It flows to me each and every day, easily and abundantly.
And you have to keep saying it yourself every single day.
Yes. And that's the part of the third step is you write it down. Put it on your nightstand, put it on your mirror in the bathroom, put it on your computer screen. And when you wake up in the morning, read it and feel it. Don't just read it. Oh, money comes to me easily. No, you want to feel it, like really feel how it feels that that's happening right now. And then at the end of the day, you're going to read it again and go into your dream world inside of that space. Now, the 4th step is really critical because it seals it all together. And that is go out into the world and watch for money flowing to you easily and abundantly every single day, manifesting in your life. And that looks like however it looks. Whoa, there's a penny on the ground or a pence on the ground, or somebody just talked to me about money and we've never talked about money before. A new business opportunity showed up, or this or that. We want to express gratitude for it manifesting right now. There it is, that penny on the ground. Thank you for showing me that money flows to me easily and abundantly every single day. Now, a lot of people will say, well, it's only a penny. The universe doesn't care. The universe doesn't distinguish between a penny and $1 million. It just knows one penny is more than you had 1 second
Right
ago.
before.
And if you say, well, I don't want that, you've just shifted your vibrational frequency from, I want money to flow to me easily and abundantly every single day, to, no, I don't. It's black and white. We don't get to have a nuanced conversation around that. You either want money flowing to you and you're going to acknowledge it and recognize it everywhere it is, or you don't. And so keep doing these 4 steps. Now, that old negative conversation, it'll never go away, but it'll get quieter and quieter and quieter over time. And it will get less frequent. And whenever it does show up, 4 steps again. Up, there you are. I acknowledge you. I recognize you. I'm letting you go again. You are no longer welcome here. I let you go, release you. This is who money is for me now. And then go back out and watch for it to manifest.
Well, I just love this because it just reminds me of the conversation I had with my mentor yesterday. So we're talking about affirmations. And one thing he let me know is that when you're saying affirmations, you don't just say it in your mind. You have to speak it out for you to hear what you're saying. Because once you do that every single day, we calibrate your mind and you feel it in your self-consciousness, like what you just said. You feel it in your self-consciousness and you believe it and you start to do it. Because at the end of the day, the brain doesn't know what's a joke and what's not. So if you keep on saying negative things to yourself, even if you don't really mean it, it's gonna take it in anyway. So and one thing people misconstrue is the fact that money is evil. It's not money is evil. The Bible says the love of money is the root of all evil, not money itself. Money is good. You need the money for everything. So it's the love of money, the greed that comes with it. And that's one thing you're trying to shift people's mindset around, because when they have the money, they are so greedy. They just want to use it to squander on different things that are not necessary, things that are not helping others to build up. But you're changing that mindset and you're changing the narrative. So I'm definitely grateful for that.
And there are a lot of people that in that $1 million exercise that I gave, those, well, first thing I'll just give a lot to charity. Well, that tells me right away they think money's evil, that they have a negative mindset around, and I have to somehow fix it.
It's like washing the money. They feel like washing the money. Let me keep.
Or washing myself by giving the money away. And that's not what you need to do. You do not need, look, giving away money is great. If that's something you want to do and you want to help others, great, do that. But it's not requisite for you to be a good person. You can give of your time. You can be generous with your love. You can be generous with your compassion. There are lots of different ways to make a difference in the world. It isn't just about giving away money. So decide what works for you and be true to yourself authentically every single day. And then the rest will come. Yeah.
I like the way.
And then, go ahead. Sorry.
No, not so. Just continue. You said, and then what?
Yeah. And the other thing you were talking about with your conversation with your mentor, it is so important that we speak it, because the thoughts we think become the words we speak, become the actions we take, become the world we create. And without those 3 things, we're living in a world that's kind of by default. We have these negative thoughts. Then, as you were saying, we kind of speak these negative, oh, my life sucks, or oh, everything bad happens to me, or it's always something. And then you create, it's always something. And then you see something happen and you declare, see, it's always something. And it's a self-fulfilling prophecy that we're living inside of. And we don't realize it. We think, oh, why do these bad things happen to me? They're not happening to you. They're happening because you create them, because you attract them into your life. You give them validity when they do show up. You say, see, my life sucks. And then more and more of that stuff shows up and you see it as evidence for, my life sucks, versus I have an extraordinary life. And then looking for all the evidence that you have an extraordinary life and only acknowledging those things and being grateful for those things. It is all about the thoughts we think, the language, the words that we speak, the actions that we take. That's the world that we create. And that gives us true power.
Yeah. And the thing is, that's why over the last couple of months and years, I've tried to detach myself from people that have a very limited mindset, because I realize that it doesn't help me. I'm trying to reconfigure my mind to have an abundance mindset. So when people say, oh, I can't afford it, oh, that's not for us, I'm like, no, I have to move away from such people. Like, I'm intentionally doing that, like moving away from people that have a very limiting mindset, because it affects you're the product of whoever you're surrounding yourself with. So I have to consciously detach from that and just take my life into my own hands and just know that the world is my oyster. I can do whatever I want to do. Once I can believe it, I can have it.
Yes. And that is one of the hardest things that people face, is the challenge of you know what? I have to select these people out of my life. I may love them, but they are dragging me down. They're not living consistently with who I am. And I don't have a judgment about that. They can live the life that they want. I have no opinion about that. Do
Hmm.
what you want to do. But for me, I want to surround myself with people that elevate me, with
Yeah.
people that challenge me to be better than who I am, and who are open to be challenged to be better than who they are. And when we've got that kind of ecosystem that we're living inside of, oh my gosh, it's an adventure every single day. My best friend is also my trainer, Stuart, and we have that relationship. Whenever we're together, it's like nobody gets to complain. Nobody gets to not be, neither one of us. And we'll call each other out in a nanosecond, and we have permission to do that. And we both become better people because of it. And our relationship becomes richer because of it as well.
Yeah, just surrounding yourself with rich people, with not just rich people, because a lot of rich people have rich mindsets. You hear what you're saying, like, oh, I'm going to this, we are going to have dinner in this country, we're going to have lunch at the other country. Like, how is that even possible? But they don't know how it's possible, but they're just saying it, and guess what? It's gonna work out for them. So I've gravitated towards these kinds of people because yes, a lot of things might sound impossible, but it's really not impossible. What is limitation anyways?
Right.
It's all in the mind. Once you limit your mind, then it's difficult for you to come out of that. Even if you have the resources to achieve everything you need to achieve, once you've limited your mind, it's game over.
Correct. And we want to make sure that the people who are quote unquote rich that we surround ourselves with have the same moral standards or same values that we have. Are they people who elevate other people? Are they people who are committed to making a difference in the world in however they make a difference in the world? Do they appreciate and respect the money that they have? Or are they in the opposite end of the spectrum where they think they're better than everyone else? They don't respect other people. They treat other people as subservient to them because they've got more money. We want to be I about who we surround ourselves with because they are a reflection of who we are. And I want my life to reflect who I am. And that is certainly an element of that are the people that I associate with and that I spend time with. And that doesn't mean, that I just need to spend time with rich people. No, I spend time with people from all walks of life. That's irrelevant. What's relevant is, are they good people? Are they committed to making a difference in the world? That's who I want to spend my time with.
Makes sense. I know you emphasize that prosperity must align with a person's spiritual path. How can someone harmonize their financial goals with their inner values of faith without feeling conflicted? Because
Yeah,
just like you said, a lot of people believe that, oh, money is bad because of their faith. So how
right.
can people harmonize that?
I think they need to reconcile that for themselves inside of that conversation. And I think you said it very well when you quoted the Bible, that it's the love of money that is the dark side of it. And regardless of your doctrine, whether you believe in the Bible or you believe in something else, and there's a negative kind of slant to that, you want to look to see, is that conversation truly a reflection of who I am? I don't, and I'm not diminishing anything at all, but I don't need something outside of me to know that this is a bad thing to do or this is a good thing to do. I can make that judgment on my own and I can live inside of those values. Now, if you're somebody who does have that outside of you, like the Bible or the Quran or some other doctrine, great, pull that towards you and find that balance for yourself. Find the thing that allows you to be joyful, to be peaceful, to be a good person, and have the kind of wealth that you want that's consistent with that. Because a lot of times the word wealth has a very broad definition. We don't have to have millions of dollars to be wealthy. We can be making a very small amount of money, and yet we've got love and family and friends around us who elevate us. That's somebody I would say is wealthy. Far beyond the billionaire who's jet setting around but is miserable and treats people horribly. That person isn't wealthy in my world, right? That's someone who's privileged maybe, but they're not someone that I look up to as a role model, right? And it's the same thing across the board. Like there are people who are quote unquote champions at certain things in sports. But I look at them and I'll say, you know what? They're an amazing, let's say poker player. They're an amazing poker player, but they will never be a champion in my mind because they're a terrible sport. They win terribly and they lose terribly. And they're always mean and nasty with the people that they play with. That's, to me, is never going to be a champion. I can acknowledge that, yeah, they're really great at playing poker, but I will never, in my mind, think of them as a champion. Somebody who's a champion is somebody who honors and respects the people around them. Somebody who's truly wealthy is someone who honors and respects the people around them and is freed up to make as much money as they want.
Yeah, I mean, at the end of the day, wealth means different things to different people, and it's a process. It's a function of what you've set out for yourself as success. If you've hit that level of success that you set out for yourself, then you can say, "Oh, yes, I'm wealthy because I've been able to have this much and have that much." But like what you've rightly said, you need to always surround yourself with good people. There's no point having a ton of cash and you're lonely at the top and just sad.
Yes, it's true. Imagine we say, okay, well, they're my best friend.
Yeah,
And I love to go out to dinner with them, but they always treat the waitstaff horribly. And I feel bad when they do it. Well, that vibrational frequency gets all over you because your vibrational frequency is just shifted because of the way they're treating someone. Do you want that person in your life? Is it worth having that vibrational shift into the negative to
mm,
have this person in your life? There are lots of things we can do about that. We can maybe have a conversation with them and say, you know what? It makes me very uncomfortable when you treat people like that. I don't understand why you do that, and get into
yeah,
a conversation, or we just remove ourselves from being with them and only be with them on limited amounts of time when we know perhaps they're at their best, right? So that we can get that experience of being with them, but also not have to deal with when they're at their worst. I used to have friends like that. Years ago, we used to travel together, and I love traveling with them. They were so great. When we were together, it was always great. But when we would go out to dinner,
yeah.
they were horrible with the people that were serving them. And when we
Mm,
would go out to the thrift shops and the markets in France, oh my gosh, they were horrible. And so I stopped doing that. We'd go out and we'd hang out together, but
yeah.
that was the limit to it because I didn't want to be exposed to that. I loved
Mm.
spending time with them alone, but I wouldn't spend time with them outside of that. So we make those choices for ourselves, and sometimes they're not easy choices to make.
Yeah, a
And
lot of
we
people
make
have people have this guilty conscience for making such choices because I mean you have a good relationship with this person. This person is not bad to you, so to speak, but the person has a horrible attitude and is always projecting on others. And you don't want that for yourself. You're trying to cut that off.
correct.
So you basically set boundaries and people be like, you're being unfair to me. I didn't do anything.
Right. But then can you have that conversation when somebody calls it out? Wait, why are you doing this? Why don't you want to hang out with me? Well, I have to be honest with you. You're my friend and I got to tell you the truth. When we go out to dinner, you treat people horribly. And
Yeah.
I don't have a judgment about that beyond it doesn't work for me. I don't want to ever treat people like that. And to see you do that makes
Mm,
me feel bad. And so I'd rather not go out to dinner with you.
yeah.
And then they get to decide what they want to do. You know what? You're right. You're right. I will change. Great. We'll go have dinner. Or, you know what? Screw you. I don't care. I'm going to do that. Okay, great. Then we get to make our choice. Again, there's not a judgment or opinion about it beyond what works for me or what doesn't work for me. I don't deem them as a horrible human being. The actions that they take are not something I would like to hang out with. But I'm not going to have a moral conversation about it. I'm just doing what works for me and what doesn't work for me.
So living in Vegas, you've gotten to see a lot of people gone really high, win the lottery, win so much money in the casino, and hit rock bottom. So and many of them they would get to that point where they've hit rock bottom before they start seeking change. What's your advice for someone who is currently overwhelmed with debt, or who is filled with shame, or who is unstable really when it comes to their finances and wants to reset their financial thermostat? Where and how do they begin?
I think the first thing is they need to be really clear that they're ready to make a change.
Mm,
One of the, I think, first criteria for any coach is, are you willing to be coachable? Because if you aren't, I can't help you. There's no coach in the world that can help someone that isn't ready for that coaching. They're just not going to be able to make a difference. And so that's the first thing. Am I really ready to make a change? Am I ready to make the hard choices that I need to make? And then the second thing is, and this is not to discount or diminish anyone who's dealing with some truly difficult and challenging times, because I know there are just times when things happen that are unexpected and they're extraordinarily challenging and they can
yeah.
cause us to go into a financial spiral. Things like, especially in the United States, not so much in the UK because you've got socialized medicine, but people get ill and they don't have health insurance, or even with health insurance, and they end up with tens of thousands, if not more, of debt in medical bills. And that's just extraordinarily challenging. That is something I'm not speaking about. I'm kind of setting that aside. This is for people who are clear that you have not been responsible with your money, that you have not been really looking at, okay, how can I do better? How can I really start operating inside of integrity or in a different way so that I can make more, I can keep more, and I can have a better relationship with money? I think that's the first thing. And once you've done that, one of the first exercises I give to all of the people I work with is, now I want you to write down every penny that you spend over the course of a month, every penny. I'm not talking about, oh, just on my credit cards or just, no, every penny. And it's important for us to really look at not just the things we spend on a monthly basis, but things that occur sometimes quarterly, sometimes biannually, and sometimes annually. So for example, we might have car insurance that only gets billed every 6 months. Well, we need to take that bill and we need to take the 6 months, the full bill divided by 6, and that becomes part of that monthly expense. Same thing for health insurance, life insurance, homeowners insurance, anything else that we spend money on that doesn't necessarily occur on a monthly basis. We want to take it, whatever it is, if it's an annual or 6 months or 4 months, whatever, and divide it by that number and then add it into that monthly expense. And then at the end of the month, and sometimes this takes more than 1 month to get a really good average. This may take 2 or 3 months, but you can see then, you look at that number and almost 100% of the time, my clients will say, oh my God, I can't believe how much money I waste. I can't believe how much money I'm throwing away every single month. It's because they don't even pay attention to it. But when they're faced with having to look at it, when they're faced with having to confront the actual numbers, suddenly they get really clear about it. Like, this is what I spend every single month. Then we juxtapose it to how much you make. And suddenly their world it's like they collide. They're like, I'm spending more money than I make every month. Well, no, that makes perfect sense. That's why your credit card debt keeps going up. You're worried or wondering, but it makes simple sense when you start to look at the numbers. So that's the first step, is really getting to the brass tacks or the bottom line of how much you spend and how much you earn, and then reconciling the two and seeing what the difference is. If there's a deficit, then we need to close the gap. If there's a surplus, then we determine what to do with that surplus. If there's a deficit, you start to look at, oh my gosh, I've got all these streaming services that I don't use anymore. I'm going out for Starbucks or a coffee or this or that, and I'm spending $150, $200 every single month on that. Okay, I'm going to cut that back so that I can bring this into balance. So I'm no longer spending more than I'm making. So those are the first two things that I think will set you on the right path. And then find someone that really speaks to you. It doesn't have to be me. It can be anyone. Look, there is no one coach for everyone. And any coach that tells you,
so we're coming to you.
well, thank you. But I'm clear that I'm not the right person for everyone. And any coach that tells you that I have the only answer, you need to work with me, no one else can help you, you need to turn and run. They are no one's coach. They are never going to be able to help you, because there is no one right answer for everyone. There's only the right answer for you and the right answer for you right now. So you can find the right answer. I love this person, or I love this activity that I'm doing, journaling or meditating or whatever it may be. And it's giving me so much. It's sourcing me and I'm seeing the results. But over a course of time, 6 months, a year, you may find, well, it's not doing the same for me anymore. That's fine. Then let it go, release it, thank it, and then find the next thing. Because there's nothing that's going to be it's like working out. You know, you may be doing certain exercises and they're great, you can see the results, but after a time, you stop seeing results doing the same exact exercises. So you got to change it up. You got to try something new. So we work the muscle in a different way. Same thing with our minds, same thing with our spirits, same thing with every aspect of who we are. Change it up so that you're always getting that hit, always getting that sense of, yeah, this is working for me and I love it.
Nice. So can you share like a client's breakthrough story that helped you to see that, that helped you to even appreciate what you're doing and how your life's transformed? Can you just share a client story?
Yeah, you know, gosh, there are two of them that I love and that come to
You can
mind.
share,
And I
you
think,
can share both of
well,
them if you want.
so one of them is a man who loves to talk about American history. And he
Mm.
loves to, just his whole life, he's got multiple degrees, I think including a PhD. And when he came to me, he's like, you know what, Pericles, I've never charged a penny for my time. He says, I know it's not worth it. I can't charge any money for it. He had no self-worth
Mm.
around his time and ultimately around himself, because as I said, our relationship to money is a reflection of who we are and our relationship to ourselves and the world around us. And so when he started to realize that and started to work with me over the course of, I'd say, maybe 2 or 3 months, all of a sudden he reached out to me and says, Pericles, I got my first paid gig. He says, and I am clear, I do not open my mouth unless someone's paying me $1,500 an hour minimum. And it was with such power and with such ownership of like,
Mm.
this is who I am in the world. I've spent decades training myself, educating myself, practicing to be this expert. Anyone who wants to speak on my area of expertise, it's going to cost them. They're going to have to pay me what I'm worth. Unbelievable. Then about a month later, he reached out and he says, I got my dream job. I'm working on a cruise and they're
Wow.
paying me to talk about what I love to talk about, and I get to cruise all over the world. So there's this extraordinary shift from I can't charge a penny and never have to I don't open my mouth unless I'm getting paid $1,500 an
I'm
hour.
touring
And
the world.
now, and I'm traveling the world and someone else is paying me to do it. And I'm doing
Wow.
what I love. That is the power of resetting our financial thermostat, because this financial thermostat was just set at, first of all, you can't earn anything.
Mm.
And second of all, no self-worth in terms of the value of what you have to provide. And then
Yeah.
the second one, just an extraordinary woman she was in her state. She was one of the best and most successful appellate attorneys. And this is someone who'd written briefs that went to the Supreme Court of the United States. So
Wow.
really extraordinarily successful. And when I
Wow.
first started working with her, I said, so tell me about your finances. She said, well, they're a mess. I'm like, well, what does that look like? She said, well, I'll tell you. I get home from work. I pull up to the mailbox. I
Mm.
open my window. I reach in. I grab all the mail out. I go through it. Anything's a bill, I throw it into the back seat. Anything that's not a bill, I take it into the house.
Wow.
She says, and then at the end of the month, I'm getting all these overdraft fees and I'm getting all these late notices. And then I run out to the car and I dig through everything and I try to, she was spending hundreds and hundreds of dollars every month in
Wow.
late fees and overdraft fees. And just, it was a mess. And this was somebody
Mm.
who's hugely successful at what she does. And so we started working together. And in a very short period of time, she was
Mm.
able to get her financial house in order. She was able to suddenly create a system and structure in which she knew everything that was owed. It was all paid on time every single month. She was able to
Mm.
save money, not only because she wasn't paying overdraft fees and late fees, but she was able to save money because she was now putting that money into savings rather than throwing it in the down the drain, right? And
Yeah.
then she was able to increase her credit score because her credit score went up, which meant when she wanted to refinance her house, which she did, she was able to refinance it at a lower rate, save money on her mortgage every month. So it was just a win-win-win situation for her. And those are the kinds of things that I love, because it's so indicative of what's possible for people when they
Yeah.
really step up and say, I'm ready for a change.
Yeah, I like the way you help people see the hard picture, because most times, especially when you go to eat out or when you go for a vacation, you'd be like, no, I'm never checking my bank statement. I'll just act like it never happened. So I look forward, but helping people and drawing them back to seeing that hard picture that they don't want to look at.
Yes.
It's pushes a very big, huge mindset shift. Like, okay, now I need to take responsibility for how I spend my money and not just spend it anyhow, because I'm working hard for this money, so I need to account for it properly. So I
Yes.
like the fact that you're drawing people's attention to that hard picture.
Well, we're shining a bright light on it, and we're looking
Mm-hmm.
at it through a magnifying glass, because
Mm.
we cannot deal with a problem that we don't understand. You
Yeah.
know, people love, and a lot of people love to do that. They just put their heads in there. I don't want to look at it. I don't want to open up my bank statement. I don't want to open up my bank account. I don't want to look at it. Well, that's not going to solve the problem. That's just going to make the problem worse and worse and worse. When we
Mm.
look at it and we see it, and we really understand that this is what's going on, then it's like an ER doctor. First thing they need to do is understand what's going on. I need to understand we've got an artery that's gushing here. Okay, we got to get that bleeding stopped. That's the
Mm.
first thing. And that's what people don't see, is they don't want to acknowledge, I have an artery of money that's just gushing out the door, but I don't want to look at it. When we look at it, we understand it, then we can create a really powerful and effective strategy for where we want to get. And where we want to get is something else that we have to look at. Most people don't know. They say, I want lots and lots of money. Well, why do you want lots and lots of money? What are you going to do with lots and lots of money? What does lots and lots of money look like? Give me a number. And when they can, because we can't hit a target that's moving or doesn't exist, right? That's like playing a game where there are no rules. What are we doing here, right? But if we create
playing a Squid Game.
Yeah, exactly. If we play a game that we've set up the rules on, I want to make X number of dollars. I want to be able to go on vacation this many times a year. I want to be able to spend this much. I want to be able to save this much. Great. That's a game worth playing. And now we can set up the rules and criteria by which we're going to win at that game. And then as we're playing it, we can measure, are we winning or are we losing? Or are we just treading water? If we're winning, great, we keep doing the same thing. If we're losing, we don't beat ourselves up. We just simply look at what is not working, make adjustments so that we can then start winning. And if we're treading water, we make adjustments so that we can start winning.
I'll call you a financial engineer because you're changing the whole landscape of what's personal finance means. I titled this episode, Reset Your Financial Thermostat, Mastering the Mindset for Abundance with Pericles Rellas. That's why I titled it. And
I love it. Thank you.
It's just been a masterclass. I feel like, have you done a TEDx talk? I think you should do. You need to be on TEDx. I need to write to them. They need to have you on because
I'll consider you my personal agent. Thank you.
You're such a straightforward communicator, and you just share the truth. You've just been sharing the truth all through, and it's very eye-opening. And you don't sugarcoat things. You just tell it as it is. And you tell them in the nicest way possible because I know you're a nice guy.
Well, we can have straight conversations and we can still have compassion. We can have a sense of humor. We can be doing serious work and still have fun doing it and laugh doing it. It doesn't diminish the seriousness of the work. It actually makes it easier to do the work when we're having fun as we do it. And so for all of your listeners, whatever you're doing, bring a sense of joy to it. Bring a sense of fun to it. It'll make it so much easier. We don't want to struggle and stress as we're dealing with things we don't want to deal with. Enjoy it as best you can.
So how do words like deserve, afford, or struggle shape our subconscious money narrative? And how can language rewiring help someone shift to a more empowered state?
Language is so important. And we talked about this just a little bit, earlier on.
Talk about some affirmations.
Yes, if we want to create the world that we want to create, the thoughts we think, not just the random thoughts that pop in our head, because look, stuff that pops in my head is just, you could write a horror story over it, right? Those aren't the thoughts I'm thinking about. It's the thoughts we choose to focus on. Those are the most critical. What thoughts are you choosing to focus on? And then what words are you choosing to say based on the thoughts that you're focusing on? And then what actions are you taking based on your thoughts and your language? So those are really important. A lot of times people will say things not realizing how impactful in a negative way it can be. So we might say, I have all this work to do, rather than say, I have an opportunity to do this work. I have the pleasure of doing this work. I get to do this job. Simple shifts in that kind of language make a big difference because then the way we approach it, the context in which we approach it, makes it so much more fun. I hate my life. That's something people say, I'm stupid. I'm so stupid. When we say things like that, you said it earlier, our minds do not know the difference between something that's actually happening and something that we're thinking. So if we're thinking it strongly enough and focused on it strongly enough, the mind doesn't know, it actually starts to manifest in the real world. They've done the exercises where, this was years ago, where they hypnotized somebody and they said to him, I think it was a man, we're holding a candle of flame on your finger. And there was no flame there, but a blister actually showed up because the body thought that the finger was burning. So the mind does not know the difference between what we're thinking and what's real. So when we speak things, when we focus on things, we want to make sure we're focusing on things that have us feel good, that empower us, that inspire us. These are the really important actions that we take that are so subtle, but a little shift will make a massive difference over a period of time. There's this great analogy that if we're going to circumnavigate the globe at the equator in a plane, we're going to fly around the world. If we're off even one tiny degree, when we take off. When we get around the world, we're going to be thousands of miles off of our destination. Well, if we shift what we focus on just a little bit every day, if we shift what we say or how we say things every single day, if we shift the actions we take just a little bit every single day, consistently over time, we're going to look back at our lives and say, oh my gosh, I have a totally different life. And it's a life I love. And it's actually the life I chose to create, not the life that got created by default because somebody said I was stupid when I was a little kid.
Nice. So top 3 practical things people can do today. I know we mentioned one, saying the things, affirming the good things of our lives. So what are the remaining 2?
So the first one is, yes, the what we say, what we focus on, the actions that we take. The second thing is educate yourself around money. A lot of times my clients will say to me, oh, I'm just going to hand this over to a money manager. I'm just going to hand this over to a financial advisor. Well, that would be like, I have a brand new baby and I'm just going to hand it over to a nanny and I'm not going to worry about who that nanny is or what they're going to do with my baby. We would never do something like that. Why would you do that with something you've worked so hard to earn as money? Right? We want to understand, what are you going to do with my money? Is what you're doing with my money to benefit me, or is it to benefit you?
Okay.
Is what you're doing with my money putting my money at risk? And am I willing to take that risk? Is what you're doing with my money consistent with my values? These are all important questions that we want to ask. And so we want to understand the fundamentals. You don't need to go get a degree in being a money advisor, any of that, or financial advisor, but you need to understand the basics of it so that when somebody says we're doing X, Y, and Z with your money, you can ask the right questions and you can understand who they are, what their values are, and are they consistent with your values? And then what is it they're going to do with your money? So that's the second thing. And then the third thing is we're either expanding or we're contracting. We're never standing still. There's no stasis in life. So are you expanding every day or are you contracting every day? And the answer to the third is always do something that expands you every single day. For me, there are lots of things that I do, but one of the things that I do is I'm on, for those of you who know Abraham Hicks, I went to their website and I signed up for their email and I get every single day, I get a blurb from Abraham Hicks. That's something that I sit with and I read it and I listen to it and I think about it and I focus on it and I apply it to my life. How does this apply to me? How can I get something from this? That's just a tiny little thing that I do every single day to expand myself. So find something that you can do every single day to grow and expand so that when you turn around at the end of the week, at the end of the month, at the end of a quarter or a year, you're like, wow, look at all the ground I've taken. And then celebrate that and honor yourself for the ground that you've taken.
I think you should write it. Have you written a book yet?
No, I have not written a book.
So you have 2 assignments. You need to write a book and you need to go on TEDx and give a talk. You have so much wisdom. There's so much unpacking. So like we said, the first thing when it comes to practical steps people can take is talking the talk. That's your affirmations, changing your language, your money language. Stop saying you can't do it. Say, money flows to me easily every single day. Once you're able to say that to yourself every single day, you start becoming that who you want to be. The second would be educating yourself around money, expanding your mindset around money. And you said the third was what?
Expanding yourself in general.
Expanding
Okay. Yourself spiritually, emotionally, physically, whatever that looks like for you. If it's spiritually, do something that's spiritual. If it's something that's emotional, do something that sources you and generates you emotionally. And then physically, if it's something that you want to do physically, going to the gym, going for a walk or a hike or whatever it is, find the things that nurture you, body, mind, and spirit, and do something like that every single day, no matter how long it is. I don't care if it's 30 seconds, start with 30 seconds and then you can expand it from there, but do something every day that expands you physically, spiritually, mentally. What was it I just said? I said it sounded great, but I can't remember it now. Mind, body, and spirit.
Mind,
That's
body,
it.
and spirit.
Mind, body, and spirits. The thoughts sometimes come through my head so quickly I can't keep.
That's I'm like,
I can't hang on to them.
You need to capture everything in the book, and because this is just so much wisdom to unpack. And so as you expand on your social presence, especially on LinkedIn, and you share transformational stories of your clients, what role do you think storytelling plays in terms of financial healing, and how has content creation become a tool for impact in your line of service?
There's so much power in
Hmm.
stories.
Yeah.
We can have someone tell us something as a distinction.
Hmm.
Okay, this is da da da. And then we can have someone else tell us a story that
Yeah.
creates the distinction, and it's so much more powerful. And so for me, the reason I love doing things like this is because it gives me an opportunity to engage with someone like you and tell stories about different things. It's not just the distinction, but it's a story around the distinction, and it's a
Yeah.
creation around it. And I get so much out of it. Every conversation that I have, Stephanie, this has been such a great conversation. And I grow. I get wiser, I hope. I get smarter, I hope. I get a deeper
Definitely.
cut on everything that I'm doing out of
Hmm.
having these conversations. So yes, stories are so important. And there are, and this is, I think, one of the things we want to watch out for too, since you brought it up. There are social media content creators or just content creators
Yeah.
who tell great, great stories that actually make a difference in the world. And then
Yeah.
we've got content creators that are telling fake stories to make it look like there is something.
Hmm.
And those are not the things that will make the biggest difference in the world. Yeah, they're entertaining. They're fun to watch. Oh, look how much money they have. Look at it. But we don't see all the curating that goes behind the scenes to make
Yeah.
it look
Sure.
that way. There are a lot of
Mhm.
people out there, not all, but there are a lot of people out there who are content creators who are going into debt to make people think that they're wealthy. And then there are
That's true.
content creators who are really sharing the struggles and the journey that they had, creating the wealth that they have. And they're sharing it with other people so that other people can stand on their shoulders and learn from their mistakes and learn from the things that they've learned. And those are the people that you want to follow. Don't, and again, this isn't a judgment, but this is if someone's really committed to moving to the next level of creating wealth, make sure who you're following is someone who's truly making a difference in the world. Or are they someone who wants to look a certain way and that's what's more important to them? Or are they someone who's just trying to sell you something, right? Are you getting value for value's sake? Or are you getting value as leverage for something else? I'm interested in value for value's sake. I want people to get value out of every interaction with me.
Yeah, and I love the way you put it, because some people are just caught up in the facade of creating something fake.
Yeah.
And you get to envy these people, and this is one of the reasons people max out their credit card in trying to live a lie. So what's the key difference in your experience between being wealthy and living in prosperity? And why does one matter more than the other in the long
Well, it matters because that's the world we live in right now. People think, well, oh, we live in this social media world where I got to look a certain way and people got to think I'm really wealthy. The
Yeah.
question for everyone to ask is, ask yourself, is looking like you're wealthy more important than actually having wealth? Are you willing to give up what people think about you so that you can take the actions that are consistent with creating true wealth? And what that means is, you know what? I don't have the money saved to go out to dinner tonight, so I'm not going to go out to dinner. People won't say that. They won't say that because, oh, no, I'm going to go out. I'll put it on a card. And as long as I can make the minimum payment on the credit card, I'm fine.
Yes.
Those are the hard choices for us to make. I need to stay home tonight. I'm not going to go on that trip, or I'm not going to wake up and say, I deserve a vacation when you haven't saved money for that vacation. Yeah, you may have
Yes.
worked really hard. You may be exhausted, but until you put money aside in an account to pay for that vacation before you go on vacation, you haven't earned it. As we
Sure.
use language, you haven't earned it. When we
Yeah.
earn it, that's when we've got the money set aside. And suddenly that vacation becomes so much more fun.
That's it.
Because here's how most people go on vacation. I deserve a vacation. I need to go on vacation. I'm beat. I'm blah, blah, blah. And they don't
I
have
was
any
made
money.
for
So they
this.
put it,
I have only one
yeah.
life to live. I need to do it
Exactly.
now.
I'm just going to go it. I'm going to go for it. And so they put it on a credit card and
Yeah.
they go on this vacation and they get there the first day and it's great. And they're so excited. The second day, they start thinking about the credit card bill. And they start thinking, is this credit card going to get declined? Is it going to go through? Did I bring another credit card? And then the vacation becomes about how much you're spending and is the credit card going to go through? And oh my gosh, this is going to be a lot of money and so we drink more to try to make it go away. And then we come back from vacation and then we get the bill and we're like, oh, So we went on a vacation that didn't provide us with what it was supposed to provide us with relaxation and rejuvenation. It stressed us out. Then we come home to the bill for the vacation, which stresses us
Even
out.
more
And then we
stress.
spend the next 6 years, 7 years, 8 years, or forever trying to pay off that credit card bill. Versus putting a little bit of money aside every single month. Every single month goes into your vacation fund. And then at the end of 6 months or a year or whatever it is, you look at that vacation fund and say, wow, I've got $1,000. I've got $2,000. I've got whatever you've got in there. I'm going on vacation and that's what I'm going to spend. No more. I might spend less, but I'm not going to spend more. And then you plan a vacation around that. And then everything's handled. I go on vacation. I put it all on a credit card. I know I've got the money in the vacation account. I put it all on a credit card where I get points or cash back. So when I get home, first of all, the vacation's amazing because I never have to think about money. And then I get home, I get the bill, I pay it off. And now it's like getting a discount or a bonus on my vacation because I got cash back. That's the bonus. Or the discount, I got points, which is going to reduce what it costs me next time I go on vacation. So we get into this cycle of I'm saving to actually buy something versus I'm using money I haven't earned yet. I'm using money I don't have to buy something or spend on something. Very different world. When we've saved it, we think more about how we're going to spend that money. Oh, I've got this $2,000 sitting in the account. Do I really want that? I don't know. But we whip out a credit card. We don't even think about it. Yeah, but impulse buy. It's a very different world to live in. And it's so much more empowering.
Yeah, because a lot of people have that philosophy like, oh, the money is going to come back anyway. So your time will never come back. You're going to lose the time. So I'm going to spend the money even if I don't have it. And
yes, and the time conversation is so important. So what is the quality of that time? Are you spending that time suffering, stressing, worrying about money, worrying about is the credit card going to decline, worrying about am I maxed out, worrying about the bill when you get home? Because that time, to me, is not quality time. I would rather stay at home and do absolutely nothing and just relax, not work, and not spend any extra money and allow that time to nourish me and rejuvenate me and do something during that time that I really love, doing a puzzle or a model or reading or whatever. There are things we can do to rejuvenate ourselves without going into debt as we're starting to get into a place where we're saving before we actually spend. And finding those things, again, this goes back to the hard choices. Are you willing to make the hard choices? When you are, you're on the path to wealth and prosperity. When you aren't, you're stumbling and it will be a little bit more challenging.
Yeah, and I can say one of the keys to making the hard choices is embracing delayed gratification. Because once you're able to plan towards that enjoyment, or once you're able to plan towards your reward, it makes a lot of sense. And you can even get discounts on that, as opposed to just going without any plan in place. You're just going to end up in debt and just end up worrying.
It's so much fun, the planning process, especially when you know it's paid for in advance. You know, maybe it's 6 months out, maybe it's a year out, but I'm doing that trip. And every time I put that money into that account, I know it's going for that trip. And I'm looking at it and it's actually impacting me right now in the present. That vacation, which is not coming yet, it's not, but it's out there. And it's like, what gets me up in the morning? I go to work and I'm excited because I know I'm working today and a little bit of that money I'm saving is going to that vacation. And it's so great. And then it arrives. And it's so much more rewarding. So yeah, it's all about that planning, that future, that creation versus the impulse buy, which at the end of the day ends up going into a black hole that can never be filled.
True. And it also creates a mindset shift of setting a goal and achieving it, because that's what success means to some people. You set a goal and you achieve it. So when you see that, I'm able to save up for my vacation fund and the money reaches the certain point I intended, and now I can take the vacation. Now that's a successful vacation because you were intentional about it from the onset. So what sort of clients do you work with? Do you work with only people that are distressed about money, or you just work
I work with anyone who's really interested in creating a new relationship with money. I work with people who are at all different stages. You know, there are people that make a lot of money, there are people who don't make a lot of money, there are people who are struggling, there are people not struggling. You know, I remember I was working with one person, she came to me and she said, Pericles, I'm ready to retire. I've handled everything in my life except money. I want that to be the last thing before I retire. I was like, great, let's go for it. for it, right? I work with anyone who's ready and open to move to another level around money. And it's always a challenge. It's always very rewarding. And I love to see the outcomes that people get.
So what's a typical time frame for people to see actual results? Is it like a quarter or
Oh
a
gosh, I've
month?
had people that the minute they sign up to work with me, they're suddenly seeing results because they've stepped into a world. They've made a commitment to something. It's kind of
Hmm.
like I put down the deposit on the vacation.
Yeah.
Suddenly I'm going on vacation, right? It's like I'm not even on the vacation yet, but I'm already experiencing it. It's already like sourcing me right now. Same thing
Mhm.
when people make a commitment, when they sign up for the gym and they're clear. I've hired the trainer. I've signed up for the gym. Wow, I'm starting to get into shape. We start thinking about what we're eating. We start thinking about the exercise, all of it. We start in a new shift of mindset, and it's just very empowering. So it can start very, very quickly. And then of course it just however much time it takes them to
Yeah.
move through the different processes, but then it continues on forever. The work
Mm.
is all about them getting it so they can do this for the rest of their lives.
Yeah. And I love the way you're giving back, because aside doing your work, you're coming on podcast to share your knowledge, to basically give back the wealth of your knowledge and your experience to people. That's what you're doing now. Because for me, this is a masterclass. I signed up for your masterclass and I've enjoyed every bit of it. So when
Thank
people
you.
look back on your body of work decades from now, what do you hope they remember the most? What do you want to be your legacy around money and mindsets?
I think at the end of the day, I
Mm,
would like to be able to say I lived a life of purpose, that I made a
mm,
difference, that I brought joy and happiness to people's lives, the people that I interacted with, that I was committed to making a difference. And I think that if other people thought the same way of me, I would be very, very happy with that. He was authentic, he was genuine, was committed to making a difference, and he was fun to hang around with. I think
yeah.
those are the things that ultimately make the biggest difference for me, and that would be a great legacy for me.
Wow. You're definitely fun to hang around with. When are you coming to London? Because we need to set up a TEDx for you, because
I have
this
not
is
planned that
just
yet, but
so
I
much
will let you
value.
know. Thank you. I
Okay.
really appreciate it.
So we've come to the second part of the show, which is called the firecracker segment. So I'm going to hit you with a bunch of questions and you're going to hit me right back.
Okay.
Nothing crazy,
Let me get a
really.
sip of water here or vodka.
Please do your strongest elements. So
All right, I'm ready.
what's one money belief you think everyone should drop today?
It's hard to make.
Hmm.
It's hard to make. It's just hard to make money. It's just hard. It's just hard. No, it's not. It's not hard.
Yeah,
It's not
you
hard.
said the word money comes to me easily
Easily and
every day,
abundantly
and
every single day. Yeah.
easily and abundantly every single day. I've written that down. So finish the sentence. Wealth is dash.
Wealth is individual.
Can you explain your thought process?
Yeah, it's different for each and every person. For one person, wealth is having their family, friends, and loved ones close by and having enough money to pay for everything. And for
Hmm.
other people, it's reaching a summit of a certain amount of wealth and
Hmm.
growing and building an empire that makes a difference in the world. So, and everywhere in between. So, wealth is individual.
Nice. So what is one daily habit that changed your financial reality forever?
Every morning when I wake
Yeah.
up,
Yeah.
I get present to. Money flows to
Hmm.
me easily and
That's it.
abundantly
Another day,
every
every
single
single
day. I
day.
do it every single day. I never miss a day.
Hmm.
And that is what I'm putting out in the world. That's what I'm attracting in from the world. And that is one of the things I do that sources me creating the world that I want.
Wow, that's just impressive. So how do you unwind when you're not helping people reset their money mindset?
I do lots of things. I love to hang out with my family.
Hmm.
I love to watch TV and I love to
Oh,
watch funny things. I love to laugh. So, I'll watch comedies and things like that, whether it's a movie or a series or something like that. I love
yeah.
to just sometimes sit in front of the TV and chill. And I also love traveling. I
Oh,
love going on cruises. I love traveling around the world. It is something that is absolutely near and dear to my heart because you get to meet different people from different cultures who live different lives. And it just enriches my life every time I meet someone new.
what would you say are your top three travel destinations?
France is number one. I lived there for 3.5 years, so
Oh.
I'm near and dear to my heart. Absolutely love it.
Mhm.
Thailand is another
Oh,
one. I went
yeah.
last year for the first time, going again in July. Just absolutely love Thailand. It's such an extraordinary country of diversity and just kind of extremes, but people who are happy. And
Hmm.
they call it the country of smiles for a reason. People are just happy there
Everyone
and
is
they
just so
smile all the
zen and
time.
happy.
Yes, it's true.
Can't
And
be London.
I wanna say I'm going for the first time this year to Japan, and I wanna say it's gonna
Yeah.
be my favorite one of my favorite destinations as well, because there's just something about the Japanese culture
Hmm.
that I've always loved, and so I'm very excited to go and looking forward to it.
Japan is on my bucket list. So when you go, you just give me travel tips.
I'll let you know.
So how can we reach you? Your socials, websites, how can we get you to you?
Yeah, you can find me on I have a website, 2 different websites that go to the same place, resetyourfinancialthermostat.com, and
Mm-hmm.
that forwards over to periclesrellas.com. And on
Amazing.
that website are all of my socials, and there's a free masterclass for people who are listening who wanna take this to the next level. They wanna
Hmm.
know the 4 steps to resetting your financial thermostat. Watch that masterclass. You enter your name and email, and you will get access to it. You can watch it right away, and it will take you through step by step everything you need to know to
Hmm.
reset your financial thermostat.
Wow. This has been an amazing and transformative session. I know I said it a million times, but thank you so much for being on the podcast. You basically shared, the SI unit for the measurement of life is time, and you've shared your time with me, you've shared your life with me, and I'm just a whole lot smarter. I feel like my brain is bigger.
Stephanie,
Thank you
thank
so
you
much.
so much for that. I appreciate it. And thank you for having me on. It has been such an honor and a pleasure.
Okay, there you go, guys. We've had such a transformative session. And if you want to dive deeper, do well to check out Pericles Abundance and Prosperity Masterclass. I'll put the link in the description so you can get through to it. And do well to support the podcast, like, share, comment, and let us know what you're thinking. And as till we meet again on another episode, don't forget to continue in the mantra bricks and banks with Steph, where we turn knowledge into action and insights into income. I'm sorry, guys. I'm just overwhelmed with a lot of knowledge from this session, and I'm taking everything in. Money flows to me easily and abundantly every single day. That's my
Yes.
mantra, and I'm taking it
Yes.
and I'm riding with it. Thank you so much, Pericles, for being on the session. It's been
You're
amazing
welcome.
hosting you. Have a
Thank
good
you.
day.
Thank you,
Yeah.
Stephanie. You too. Take care. Bye bye.